Let's get right into today's project. To begin with, I have these two canvas that I picked up from my local thrift store. And what I want to do is go ahead and remove the canvas from the frame. So to do so, you see I just simply took a flathead screwdriver, got underneath those staples, pulled them up, and then I removed the staple with my needle nose pliers. And I do this to both of these frames. So once the canvas is removed from the frame, the actual beauty of this wood is what's exposed, and that's what we're left with. So with these crossbars in the middle of the frame, I need one of these gone. So I thought that I could remove the staple and then this crossbar would just come out, but that was a no-go. It didn't happen like that. This particular frame has like that wedge of wood and the slot that actually connect to each other. So what I had to do was go ahead and remove one side of this frame to pull that crossbar out. So once the crossbar was removed, I simply took my miter box and saw, and I went ahead and removed the two wedges of wood on either side. And I want to use this for later, in addition to another piece of scrap wood, like you'll see here later. So now that I have one of my frames with the crossbar removed and the other still with the crossbar, I want to go ahead and attach these two together to make them into one solid frame. So to do this, I'm simply going to go ahead and bring in some of this Aleene's tacky glue from the Dollar Tree, and I'm also going to use my hot glue. So of course, the Aleene's is going to give us a long-term adhesion, while our hot glue gives us a right now adhesion, so that we're able to work while that Aleene's tacky glue sets up. So while you are attaching these, when you go to actually place one of these frames on top of the other, be sure that you are very particular about the placement, because once that wood comes in contact with that hot glue, it will be kind of hard to maneuver it and to shift it where it needs to be. So make sure that your placement is on point. Take your time adhering the two of these together. So once my glues have been laid, I put one frame on top of the other. I'm just adding pressure to make sure that everything is cohesive and where it needs to be. So now I want to take this foam core from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to actually measure from the inner perimeter of the frame, and I'm going to cut this out, and this is going to serve as the backing of my message board. So to cut this out, of course, I'm going to use a straight edge tool, and I'm going to use my crafting knife. So when I glued these two frames on top of each other, I noticed that I was left with a nice gap all the way around on the inside. So I'm going to take these nice big jumbo craft sticks from the Walmart. I'm going to cut these in half, and I'm going to add some hot glue to these, and I'm going to stick these right into the gap. These are going to serve as those metal tabs serve on a picture frame, to keep it, well, your photo in place. So now once I have all of these tabs glued into place, as you see here, now I want to go ahead and bring in these really nice shelves from the Dollar Tree. Yes, Dollar Tree has a smaller version of these shelves, but you guys, I love the larger shelves that they have. Yes, they were $5 a piece, but when I tell you, this is what really makes this project. What I want to do to attach these or to adhere these is I'm going to use a combination of hot glue as well as a fix-all glue as well. So again, these shelves here, they're going to act as a shelf, but also as like that crown molding material that's going to be very decorative to this project. Once one of my shelves has been glued down, as you see here, I'm going to bring my drill in, turn this piece over, and I'm going to drill 3 holes into the back of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and take 3 long screws, and I'm going to let this go through the wood into the shelf. And this is going to be sure that this is solid. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't have to worry about it falling off. It's going to be pretty solid, y'all. So once I have this first shelf attached, I'm going to go ahead and attach the second shelf in the same steps. So once this shelf has been attached to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and take that backing that we cut out. I'm going to place that on the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this in place with my hot glue with those tabs. And after I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and give this, as well as my two pieces of wood that you will see, I'm going to give both of these a coat of white matte chalk paint. That didn't make any sense. White matte chalk paint. Y'all know what I mean. White chalk paint. So these are those two pieces of wood. And one of those pieces of wood, you guys, I actually got from Lowe's for free. When you go into Lowe's, please, 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 please be on the lookout. They do have those little free pieces of wood. So now you see I'm just playing around with my placement, seeing how I want this to actually lay down, how I want it to look. So to give this some definition, now I'm going to bring in my silver lining chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm just going to go ahead and dry brush this just to give it a little tiny bit of distressing. For me, I feel like the distressing is really going to bring definition to this so that it doesn't like drown on my white wall. So once my dry brushing is done, now I'm going to go ahead and start putting everything together. So I have this dry erase board that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and I cut it down to size, to the size that I want. Now I'm actually with this bulletin board. You can use what is that stuff called? The cork material. There we go. From the Dollar Tree, you can line that with some cardboard, and voila, you have a bulletin board. This piece here is actually from the thrift store. I found a frame I liked, and this was what was left from the frame. So now that I have these two pieces cut down to the dimensions they need, now this is that piece of free wood that I picked up from Lowe's. I'm simply cutting it down to fit where it needs to be. Now, you guys, I don't really care to give measurements because my measurements may not be the exact same of the materials that you have. So if you decide to recreate this, please, 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 please go according to your own measurements, the way that you want it to look, the way you want it to fit. So now I'm going to go ahead and begin to really assemble this. I'm going to go ahead and lay down a foundation of hot glue, and I'm going to place down my dry erase board first. Then I'm going to go ahead and attach my bulletin board next to it, but I'm going to be careful only to put that hot glue on the actual perimeter, the outside perimeter, of that bulletin board material, because I don't want the hot glue to come in to come into contact basically with my push pins. So now around the bottom, I have this blank space, but I left this blank on purpose because I really wanted to add some kind of a decorative feel to it. So what I did was I picked up this shelf lining material from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just again going to measure this from the inside, as you'll see me doing, and then I'll just cut this down with my crafting knife. You guys, let me know down in the comment section, have you ever crafted with any of the Dollar Tree's shelf lining, whether it was the kind with the non-skid material or the adhesive on the back? Let me know down in the comment section. Once I have this piece of this shelf lining material traced out, now I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So once it's cut out, I'm going to now just go ahead and lay this down across that blank piece of backing that we had with hot glue. Now, when you are cutting out your dry erase board and your cork, and even your shelf liner, or if you choose to use a decorative paper, whatever you choose to use, if it doesn't come out right with your cuts, don't worry about it, because those pieces of wood that I painted, which one was the crossbar and then the other was a piece of free wood that I got from Lowe's, that is really going to cover up where those edges meet. So now to attach these pieces of wood, what I'm going to do is just attach them with hot glue as well as my Fix All adhesive. You guys, I notice the older that I get, the more I'm having to write things down. So I figured, why not have something stylish, tasteful, and pretty, very nice for me to write my notes on so that I don't forget anything. So once everything is glued into place, I'm just simply going to cover the back of this with some craft paper that I did pick up from the Dollar Tree. And to hang this up, I just simply take some 22 gauged wire. I staple it down on either side, doubling it up, and that's how I'm able to actually hang this on my wall. So now I'm going to go ahead and hang this up, and I'm going to let you see how this comes together. You guys, I am so pleased with how my DIY message board came together. I absolutely love, again, those shelves from the Dollar Tree at the top and the bottom. This really makes a statement to me. I feel like this looks so boutique, like fresh. It feels like it just came out of a French country boutique somewhere. Absolutely love this. So as you see, what I simply did was add a key hanger. I got this from Lowe's years ago. I just simply attached this to that piece of wood on our message board. Now I can place my keys there. I also just took one of those organizing baskets from the Dollar Tree, as you see, the little skinny one, and I placed it in there. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, be blessed.